Welcome to Music Guru, where rock and metal never die and every classic note still matters. For decades, Black Sabbath's lyrics have been called everything from brilliantly poetic to dangerous and evil. But what did Ozzy Osbourne think about the words he was singing, especially when the lyrics got very dark? Today on Music Guru, we dig into a moment of honesty from Ozzy, plus a revealing comment from Tony Iommi, and ask, were Black Sabbath's lyrics ever truly harmful, or were they the product of a misunderstood genius? So let's rewind. Throughout Sabbath's golden years, bassist Geezer Butler was the band's primary lyricist. He was writing about war, mental illness, addiction, and even occult imagery. Ozzy famously wasn't the writer, he was the voice. And in a later interview, Ozzy opened up about how deeply he respected Butler's lyrical talents, even when he didn't immediately understand them. So let's listen to Ozzy speak right here.
No, but you know, he's never ever let me down. The lyrics, I might not understand what I'm singing about for the song, but...
Are there any tunes on this record you don't understand what you're singing about?
Everyone. No, I'll get the gist about 5 years later. I go, oh yeah, it's about that, you know. God is dead.
I like how there's a question mark, but God is dead is a definitive statement at the same time, and there's a question mark at the end of it.
Yeah.
So what I also find interesting is, had you released a song called God is Dead in 69, 70, people would have been like, whoa, too far. But nowadays, the provocation's not there anymore.
But he's very good at giving me something. And right at the very end, it's like, but is he dead? You know, it's like, you can't see him, but at the end, can you see him?
And that statement has been around for 200 years anyway, from Nietzsche, and, you know, Communist Party adopted it, so...
Think about that for a second. Ozzy was living the lyrics night after night, even when he didn't always grasp their full meaning. But that speaks to something deeper, which is trust. Ozzy trusted Geezer to give him something real, something heavy, even when it seemed cryptic at first. And it also proves that the lyrics were layered. They had metaphor, philosophy, and even literary allusion. Songs like War Pigs or Into the Void weren't just doom and gloom. They were social critiques. They were meditations. They were free-ranging, imaginative poems by Geezer Butler. Now, despite all that depth, many critics weren't kind to Sabbath, and they accused them of promoting Satanism or glorifying evil. The band even got blamed for moral decay, suicide, drug abuse, and here's where we listen to something that Tony Iommi had to say about all. Let's listen in right here.
For some quite baleful consequences. In the autobiography you wrote, you talk about a case of a nurse who killed herself and Paranoid was playing on the turntable.
That's right, yeah.
Beside her.
That's right, and we never know what that reason was, you know. There's always going to be something, isn't there? There's always going to be something they'll find.
Does it bother you?
Well, you hate to anybody that's killed themselves. That's not saying it was us. It was saying they'd found Paranoid on the turntable.
Ozzy was quoted back in 2004 as saying, "You remember that guy from New York, Son of Sam, who was killing all the chicks? When they got into his apartment, he supposedly had the lyrics to After Forever written on his wall. I thought, are we going too far?" Did you?
No. I never did. The lyrics are what happens in the world. Yeah.
So Iommi makes a strong point. Sabbath didn't invent darkness, they just refused to look away from it. Their songs dealt with reality. War, madness, corruption, fear, these are all things that take place in the world. And that honesty connected with fans, even if it frightened certain critics. So Ozzy's inability to always understand Geezer's lyrics isn't a knock against him. It's actually kind of a cool thing, because that allowed him to feel them emotionally first and only understand their meaning intellectually later. And it's a reminder to all of us that music hits us in waves, and sometimes it takes a little longer to get one aspect of a song than another, even if you're one of the creators. So what I'd like to ask you is, do you think that Sabbath's lyrics were ever harmful, or were they just real? Did they push boundaries and speak truths, or did they exploit their listeners? leave your comments in the section below. Anyone that follows this channel knows I'm a huge Sabbath fan, and I love Geezer's lyrics, so I fall into the category of believing that Geezer Butler was a lyrical genius. This is what I think, but what really matters is what you think. So if you have an idea about this or any other topic connected to classic or contemporary music, please drop it in the section below, and remember to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.
MusicGuru here, asking you to help us on our march to 10,000 subscribers.